In this video, I will explain how to overcome the 6 mistakes that lead to burnout and hinder church growth. Fixing these issues is easier than you may think. Let's break free. Hey friend, if you're new here, my name is Shawn Simmons, and I have been involved in ministry for over 30 years. In our conversation, I will share 6 common mistakes found in small churches. Mistakes that keep them stuck. More importantly, I will show you the way to overcome them. Mistake number 1, no clear vision. Have you noticed that your church calendar is full, yet your congregation feels exhausted? I've observed ministries that appear busy from the outside, but internally, they're simply going in circles. Clarity changes everything. When you understand your vision, you can confidently say yes or no to things. In one church I worked with, the pastor had a clear vision in his mind. However, the board and the members were left guessing. This lack of alignment was like driving a car with unbalanced tires. There was a lot of noise, but not much progress. Without a clear vision and the leadership to implement it, you risk doing everything yourself. This is a quick route to burnout. Our church consulting program focuses on coming alongside pastors and church leaders to clarify their vision in a way that is simple, focused, and doable. Together, we establish a leadership structure to prevent bottlenecks in the process. A key part of my consulting role is to help churches create a single, clear purpose and to raise up leaders, ensuring that the pastor isn't carrying the entire burden alone. Mistake number 2, poor financial strategy. Although we often avoid discussing it, the ministry relies on money. I've witnessed churches with a $50,000 budget making a greater kingdom impact than those with a $500,000 budget, simply because they were intentional. A small church I consulted discovered they were spending more on flowers and office supplies than on outreach. Within 6 months, we reallocated just 10% of their budget, resulting in new families walking through the doors. I once worked with a church that had a tremendous passion for outreach, but their budget barely covered the electric bill. They often said,
"When we have more money, we'll do more ministry."
But the reality was that day never came. Vision attracts money, not the reverse. With a clear vision, people give towards making an impact rather than merely covering expenses. At S3 Ministry, our church consulting program begins by helping you identify your core priorities and develop a funding strategy that feels comfortable and authentic without any guilt, pressure, or gimmicks. We conduct a financial health check, identify any leaks in your budget, and redirect resources towards ministries that promote church health. Mistake number 3, unhealthy ministry pace. Burnout is a sneaky thing. It doesn't strike suddenly like a lightning bolt. Instead, it feels more like a slow leak in your spirit. I recall countless nights on Saturday staring at my sermon notes and thinking I have nothing left. A few years ago, I reached a breaking point. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, convincing myself it was just a temporary phase. But phases aren't meant to last for years. Experiencing burnout doesn't make you a bad pastor, it makes you human. However, you can effectively support others when you're running on empty. If you're preaching, leading, visiting, counseling, planning, and troubleshooting each week, you're not running a race. You're on a treadmill set to maximum speed. In our church consulting program, I assist pastors in establishing a sustainable rhythm that safeguards their Sabbath, delegates responsibilities, and fosters a team that shares the workload. I help churches reorganize their ministry so that you can rest without feeling guilty and lead without the constant feeling of being overwhelmed. Mistake number 4, overwhelming sermon preparation. Some of you spend 15, 20, even 30 hours a week preparing sermons and still feel unready. I understand the feeling of dedicating all week to preparation and still not feeling prepared for Sunday. I realized that the problem wasn't my heart. It was my entire system. I once coached a pastor who had no system, as evidenced by the 16 unfinished sermons on his desk. In the sermon coaching program, I help pastors prepare their sermons using a proven framework that reduces preparation time by half while enhancing the quality of their messages. I guide them through my 4-part sermon blueprint, enabling them to prepare more effectively, gain clarity, and still have enough energy left to spend time with their families. Mistake number 5, weak generational connection. In small churches, you have teenagers, young couples, empty nesters, and seniors gathering in the same sanctuary on Sunday. It's like preaching at a youth camp, a marriage conference, and retirement luncheon all at once. Have you ever noticed that while you're preaching, the teenagers are scrolling on their phones and the seniors seem to be nodding, though not out of agreement, but more likely out of sleep? Connecting across generations is an art form. It involves telling stories and using visuals that resonate with both the young and the old, making sure messages hit home for everyone, regardless of their life stage. The sermon coaching program provides practical strategies for crafting messages that resonate with everyone in the congregation. One key approach is to anchor your sermon in universal truths, and then enhance it with illustrations that are understandable to all. I train pastors to create messages that connect across generations without watering down their message. Mistake number 6, too much content. During one of my first sermons, I delivered a 12-point sermon. Do you know how many points people remembered? Just one. And it wasn't even one of my points. I learned less is more. A single big idea and one clear takeaway, that's what sticks. When we try to say everything, people remember nothing. One pastor I worked with reduced his sermon points from 7 to one main idea. The following Sunday, a church member repeated the entire concept back to him, something that had never happened before. Less is more. The sermon coaching program helps clarify the message so it resonates. I assist pastors in eliminating distractions so their messages are not just heard, but lived out on Monday morning. Which of these mistakes do you currently see in your ministry? Leave a comment below. And I want you to know you don't have to stay stuck. If any of this resonates with you, this is exactly how I help pastors and churches through my church consulting and my sermon coaching programs. To learn more or to schedule a free call, you can visit ShawnSimmonsSpeaker.com and go to the church consulting page or the sermon coaching page for more information. I want you to know you're not alone. Let's break free together. To elevate your preaching even more, watch this video next. I'll guide you through the 4-part sermon blueprint that helps pastors prepare more quickly, communicate more clearly, and achieve real life transformation. See you there.